Hi Virgo, thanks for tuning in. My name is Linda. Welcome to my channel. I have your May reading ready to go. All my decks have already been shuffled. So here we have where you are now. We have the Lovers upright. The challenge you face, Five of Cups. The resources you can use, Ace of Wands in reverse. The hidden forces, Knight of Cups. The potential outcome is the Nine of Wands. And what we have here with the runes is what is the spiritual lesson in this situation. We have Gibo, okay, which is actually really quite similar in energy to the Lovers. Okay, give me a second here to tune into this energy. Mainly, I mean, the first energy that I'm getting here, or the first kind of message I want to bring through is that you could be in a situation right now where you are connected with somebody, someone you are having a romantic connection with or a sexual connection with. And your challenge could be here, given this top line, your challenge could be here to actually walk away from that energy, or just move on and shift the dynamic between you to something other than a sexual energy. Because this Ace of Wands in reverse, in the position of the resources you can use, it's sort of like moving the energy away from a sexual connection to something else. That's what I feel. That's how I would interpret the Ace of Wands reversed in this context. Now, you have on the bottom line here the hidden forces, Knight of Cups, potential outcome, Nine of Wands, and the spiritual lesson, Gibo upright. So well, Knight of Cups upright in the potential, this is the hidden forces. I feel like for some people who are watching this, there could be a new energy coming towards you, a new romantic interest or a new love offer or some other kind of energy that will shift your current circumstances. Like if you're having a connection with someone that is very sexual, but you kind of maybe you know, or you feel like it's time to shift that energy between you to something else. Knight of Cups here in this position is saying there could be a new offer coming towards you, or this is about some kind of creative energy that you need to channel in that will shift this energy. Because the Five of Cups in the upright here in the position of what challenge you face, I feel for some of you that there could be a need here for moving on, like, yeah, moving on from this connection, because there's something about it which is like, there's this energy of disappointment, of course, with the Five of Cups, but regret is what's coming here. Like you might be starting to feel regretful about it, or there could be some kind of energy of needing to adjust emotionally. With the Five of Cups in the challenging position, there's a need for adjustment. There could be some like sadness or suffering, mourning, regret, grief, something like that along the lines of this connection that is requiring you to shift your vibration or to change your perspective. And maybe, you know, the dynamic is the status. I feel like the status here is changing from this like emotional connection or a sexual connection into a different I'm hearing genre. You have to shift genres here. There's a change in the environment. There's a change in the dynamic between you and another person that maybe was sexual, but this top line is saying like that energy needs to shift so that there is a different relating. There's a different energy between you, one that could be like, you might need to bring more creativity to that dynamic. You could need to bring more you might need to bring forgiveness into the environment. That's for someone specific. There could be a need for forgiveness. There could be loss and change for sure. Five of Cups, but the Knight of Cups here is interesting. Just give me a second with it to understand a bit better. It's in the position of the hidden forces. So, Knight of Cups in the position of the hidden forces. I do like the colors of this card. So the card in the potential outcome here is the Nine of Wands. And in this deck, the Voyager deck, the Nine of Wands is called Integrity, which I find very interesting. Nine of Wands in other decks is about endurance. It's about strength and courage and like perseverance in the face of a challenging situation that's been ongoing. But in this reading, integrity is what's coming through in the potential energy, or sorry, the potential outcome. So this is kind of saying that the experience that you've had with this lover, let's say this connection that you've had, is bringing you experience. It's bringing you like the experiences that you've gained as a result of your connection with someone, a sexual connection with someone, is now bringing you to a point here where you now need to understand that it's time to convert or transmute that energy into some other way of relating to that person that's not sexual. Could be creative, it could be some kind of, like with the Nine of Wands here, it's like the experience of being in that connection with that person is now forcing you to understand some things about yourself that maybe you didn't have contact with before, like that something that you're learning about yourself, about maybe your integrity or about your perseverance or about your strength or about your courage, is being activated or flared up or triggered or being brought to your awareness as a result of your interaction with somebody. And because of your connection with a person, it's sort of helping you see parts of yourself that you haven't necessarily had access to before or been aware of before. And that's a really beneficial thing. But I feel like the message of this reading is saying that it's time to transmute that sexual energy into something else. You know, make a conversion, like convert the energy of that sexual connection into something else so that you can not override, what's the right word? Transmute, I guess. You're transmuting that sexual energy of that sexual connection into something that is much more potent in the way that it provides your awareness about yourself on some specific topics that you haven't necessarily had access to before. Maybe it's also helping you bring awareness of compassion and understanding and forgiveness with this Knight of Cups in this part of the reading. It's in the area of the reading which is called hidden forces, or what you're not aware of, like what you can't see. Now I want to speak on this rune a little bit. Now this rune, as you can see, doesn't have a reversal because it's the same in both directions, but it can be read in a sort of debilitated way, right? So this rune is called Gibo. Again, I don't know if the pronunciation is correct. It's a Scandinavian word, or Norse, from Norse mythology, and it means gift. Okay, but it is very similar to the Lovers because it is about like this union, the connection. It's about contracts, personal relationships, partnerships, unions, balance. Now, in my notes here it says gifts both in the sense of sacrifice and generosity, indicating balance. All matters in relation to exchanges, including contracts, personal relationships, and partnerships. Now, it doesn't have a reversal, as I've said, but it can have an opposition or a debilitated energy. And what it says in my notes is greed, loneliness, dependency, over-sacrifice, obligation, toll, privation, and bribery. So take what you feel is appropriate for you out of those. How I would see it, or what I would interpret out of this, is that in regard to this dynamic with a person here, where there has been some kind of exchange, there perhaps has been some through that contact, through that connection with someone, there is some kind of emotional, I'm feeling this like washing, right? There's like a washing, a cleansing, a purification emotionally that is helping you to gain more integrity or more understanding about dependence, about loneliness, about exchange, about obligation, about what it means to be in a union, and what sacrifices are required, and what obligations are needed, what personal sacrifice or personal what's the right word? Exchange is coming up, right? Like this energy of exchange, like what you give in terms of what you receive back as part of a sharing, as part of an exchange, as part of a being in any kind of union or any kind of connection. There is always going to be a requirement for giving and receiving. Now, the challenge, coming back to this top line here with the challenge being the Five of Cups, it's like there is some kind of loss here. There is a grief, there's a mourning, because maybe you understand something about yourself where maybe in the past there hasn't been the right level of balance or exchange or of generosity and sacrifice in a union that has been prevailing, and your obligation now is to create some kind of rebalancing out of that union, of that connection, and channeling greater integrity and wisdom and understanding of your obligations that you are required, and the sacrifices that are needed for you to continue to operate in a way that has a balance and an exchange which is relevant and in partnership and in like a substantial feeling of things being harmonious. I hope this is making sense. I'm just fully channeling here. I'm not really, I'm not going to overly question what's coming through. If the message is for you, you'll understand what it's about. Now, let's see if there's anything else here I can add before I close out this reading. I want to just touch on the Ace of Wands in reverse for a second before I close up. So this card in this position is what resources you can use. And what I'm getting from this Ace of Wands in reverse is that, again, it's like maybe transforming that sexual energy into something else. But what else I'm feeling here is that it's about checking your motivation, right? What's your motivation in a connection? What's your motivation? What incentive do you have for putting energy into something? And what do you get out of it? Like, are you misdirecting your energy because there's some kind of greediness or selfishness? Are you overly dependent? Are you overly sacrificing something? Are you forcing an obligation or an exchange in a situation that doesn't necessarily need or require that? And is that what's causing you to feel a sense of loss and grieving and mourning? So there's some things to look at here, some things to analyze in a situation here with another person, in order to understand the union better, in order to understand yourself better, in order to learn more about yourself, to understand to get a greater sense of awareness over what contracts and obligations are actually relevant for you, and how to be in better harmony with yourself so that all of your relationships can have a greater sense of harmony, balance, and exchange. Virgo, with that, I'm going to close out this reading. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of that. It's been an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next reading. Bye for now.